Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you how to draft a basic sleeve pattern. So I'll be showing you guys how to draft a long sleeve and a short sleeve. If that's something you're interested in, keep on watching and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. So for your short sleeve measurements, make sure you cut your fabric or your pattern paper on fold like this. And after that, this line that you are seeing is my starting line. It's also known as the starting point. So from this line, I'm going to come down by 4.5 inches. So this 4.5 inches is the bicep line. I'm going to mark down the 4.5 inches like this. Then I'll just use my stretch ruler to connect the points together. And after that, I will measure my sleeve length. So for your sleeve length, you can either go for 8 inches or 10 inches, depend on how long you want the short sleeve to be. So in this case, I'm just going to mark down 8 inches, or let's just say 9 inches for the sleeve length. So we have the starting line, the bicep line, and the sleeve length. So I'm just going to label it for you guys to see. And label it the starting line, the bicep, and the sleeve length. So after that, from this folded side here of the sleeve, I'm going to measure 4 inches. So I marked down my 4 inches here, and then from this point to this point, which is 4.5 inches, make sure you place your tape measurement there very well, and then you get the midpoint of this. From your starting point to your biceps line, get the midpoint of it. So it will be 4.5 inches divided by 2. So you can easily just fold your tape measurement like this and put a point there. Then you're going to connect this to this and to this. But before that, you're going to measure your bicep measurement. So my bicep circumference is 11 inches. I'm going to mark that down here. And then I'll be adding 1.5 inches sewing allowance to it. Here, I'll be measuring my forearm measurement, just your round arm measurement. Whatever that it gives you, you mark it down here, divided by 2. So mine is 10 inches divided by 2. That's 5 plus 1.5 inches allowance. So altogether we have 6.5 inches. So in order to connect this point, this point, this point together, I'll be using my curve ruler. You can also use your free hand to do this, and you can use your curve ruler to do this. But when you are using your curve ruler, make sure you are using it rightly so it can give you a proper curve like this. Then I will use my ruler to connect this point to this point like this. So you can see what we have here, and it goes like this. So this is our sleeve armhole measurement. This, my bicep and the sleeve length together. So what I'm going to do now is to cut out the sleeve pattern. So this is what I have after cutting it out. And that's that for the short sleeve. So I'll be repeating same thing on the long sleeve. Cut it on your fabric, or you can also cut it on the pattern paper the way I'm doing now. And make sure you are cutting on fold. So make sure you are cutting your sleeve pattern on fold like this. And then this line you are seeing is the starting line. From here, I'm going to measure 4.5 inches. So from this starting point, I'm going to measure 4.5 inches. That will be my bicep depth. So now we have the bicep line. After that, we'll be measuring the forearm measurement, which is also known as your elbow line. To get that, you need to measure this out on your client's body or on yourself. So mine is 12 inches. Then I'm just going to mark that down. And then I will use my ruler to connect the points together. So we have the starting line, the bicep line, the elbow line, and now we're going to measure out the sleeve length. So the sleeve length, in this pattern paper, I'll be using 20.5 inches. So if you want it longer than this, you measure it out. But in my own case, I'll be using 20.5 inches. Then I will connect the points together. Now that we have all these points down, we're going to start measuring down the circumference on the sleeve. So same thing the way we did for the short sleeve. We're going to measure out 4 inches from this folded side and mark it down. And then remember, from this starting line to your biceps line, you need to get the midpoint of it. So it will be 4.5 inches divided by 2. All you need to do is just to make sure you hold your tape firm on your pattern paper or your fabric and get the midpoint of it by you folding your tape measurement into 2 like this. And then you just need to put a point on that midpoint like this. So now that we have this, I'm going to measure out my bicep measurements. So for my bicep circumference, it's 11 inches divided by 2, which is 5.5 inches. I'll be adding 1.5 inches allowance to it. For my elbow measurement is 10 inches. So it will be 10 inches divided by 2, which is 5 inches. I'll mark that down. And then add my 1.5 inches sewing allowance to it, which is this. And I will connect the point together. And then for my wrist is 8 inches. So I will mark that down. And I'll also add my 1.5 inches allowance to it. So now that we have all the points marked down on the pattern paper, I'm going to start connecting the point together. Remember this midpoint that we have here, I'll connect it to this starting point and then connect it back to this. I'll be using my curve ruler to connect this to this. And then I'll connect this to this. You can always use your free hand to curve this line. I'm just using my straight ruler. My curved ruler. You can always use your free end to cut this out. Now I'm going to use my marker to connect these points together using my straight ruler. If you measure this place, you're going to see that it's exactly your armhole measurement. My armhole measurement is 15. So I'm going to measure that down, mark it so that you guys can see that it's exactly the same. So I'm going to measure my 15 inches from my armhole. And you see, this it's what I have here. And then this is 1.5 inches allowance that I added to it. So if you follow this pattern, you're going to have exactly like this. So the next thing I'm going to do is just to cut it out. So this is what I have after opening it up. You guys can see how nice and how this part is sitting properly. So if you follow this method, you're going to have exactly like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and label it. So this is what I have. I have my long sleeve and I have my short sleeve. So that's just it on how to cut basic sleeve pattern. I hope you find this video very helpful. If you do, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, turn on your post notification bell so you get to know anytime I drop new videos. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.